This is based on a series of terrorist attacks that took place in Mumbai in 2008, one of which was on the Taj Hotel where most of this movie takes place, and it's director Anthony Marra's first feature-length movie. It's also kinda billed as starring Dev Patel, but here's the interesting thing. I wouldn't really say he stars in this. In fact, I wouldn't really say there's even a protagonist at all, because the movie follows a number of different people, including Dev Patel's character who works at the hotel, which is under attack by armed gunmen, some sort of Pakistani radicals. And his character might be the one we follow the most. But this isn't your average Hollywood hero movie where it only sticks with one guy, who inevitably saves the day. In fact, no one really saves the day. Because there's not really a happy ending to a story like this. Not in real life at least, so they chose not to forcibly include one. But we also follow a number of other characters too, including a couple who's staying at the hotel. And the woman played by Nazanin Boniadi is kind of the second lead in this. But she's no hero either, and she's just trying to survive, like everyone else. But the movie also follows the terrorists, and they get a fair amount of screen time. So you get to see both points of view, and they even manage to somehow make the terrorists feel human too. Which is kinda remarkable considering they're executing innocent people left and right. I mean, just the way they move around so casually, looking almost indifferent. And in no hurry either, just calm and collected, killing anyone who moves. Now that is terrifying and brilliantly done. It makes the whole thing feel so incredibly intense. And this is hands down one of the most intense movies I've seen all year. A really well made thriller that's just relentless and almost too realistic at times. But then after like the first half, it still somehow manages to make those murderers seem like people. They joke around and show hesitation and even fear later on. The movie makes it clear that they're not all necessarily psychopathic killers. They're not machines or emotionless creatures with no humanity in them. They're basically young gullible men who have been indoctrinated. They've been made to think that they're doing God's work, and that the infidels deserve to die. Essentially, they really think they're doing the right thing and are fighting for a good cause. And getting me to even sort of sympathize with these men to some degree, after just witnessing them plow down a bunch of civilians, is nothing short of astonishing. And the filmmakers deserve some credit for that. They did a really good job with this movie, mainly with the suspense, which was fantastic. And with how they portrayed the terrorists, that was really good too. And overall, I liked this movie quite a bit, but there was one issue with it. The characters, mainly the good guys, there wasn't much depth to them. We didn't really get to know them that much before the action kicks in. And we didn't really get to know much about them after the fact either. We know that they have families they love and that they're generally good people. But we don't really know much about them beyond that. We don't know much about what's going on inside their heads. We don't really know what they're thinking or what kind of complex feelings they're having. There's not really any internal struggle going on either, you know? They just want to survive and that's pretty much it. Meanwhile, the bad guys are actually better written in a lot of ways. Exactly because of that internal struggle some of them are having. There's depth, complexity and nuance there. They're not one-dimensional. Which is kinda crazy to say, but I think that's true. The villains are better written than the good guys. And the good guy characters are the weakest link in the whole movie. That's really the only issue I had with it though, and it's not like it really ruined it or anything. But I feel like they could have done better, and the writers are obviously capable of better too. However, I still really liked what they did with this. It's pretty impressive. And I enjoyed it quite a bit, if that's something you can really say about a movie like this. Because it's a pretty intense and visceral movie, and not for the faint of heart. And the events in this are truly horrific too, so yeah, it's not gonna be for everyone. But would I recommend it? Yeah, if you can stomach it, it's pretty good. Definitely worth checking out. Or you could skip it. I'm not your dad. But I am trying to sell out, so consider liking, subbing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need to fly to India and stay at a fancy hotel. And hey, why not drop a comment below or check out another review? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.